And this is a gap I see in a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs who are like myself, where they are creatively and technically gifted. They have niche skill sets that are high value skill sets, and they're struggling at step one, which is finding somebody to pay them reasonably and consistently for those things. So I want to continue our conversation from the last video. I had no idea what I shared was going to be such a juicy gem for so many of you, which was that the majority of my higher paying contracts actually did not come from running ads or any technical strategy or marketing funnel. It typically came from coffee conversations, get to know ya type calls, sometimes multiple conversations where I built and nurtured relationships with high level decision makers who then picked me to be the person to do their projects. They also referred me to people inside of their network, and them referring me and opening doors for me led to all of the scale that later completely burned me out. And you know what? I will be the first to admit I would not have got burnt out in the way that I did and completely overwhelmed, so much so that I had to walk away from my agency if I had continued to work on this one thing. One of these secrets to both growing a business and finding opportunities, as well as being able to maintain that business, are hard skills, okay? Hard skills. And if you are not from the corporate world, bless you, you lucky lamb, then you may not know what hard skills even are. So I'm just going to share with you what hard skills are. Hard skills are interchangeable skill sets that show high potential and self-awareness and integrity that lead to creating or developing someone that has a large amount of potential for success. So when people who are decision makers are hiring someone, they may be looking for technical or creative skill sets. They may be looking for something that you've actually been educated in or have a lot of experience doing, but they're also looking for hard skills. An example of hard skills might be something like relationship building. Now, you may wonder, how is relationship building or somebody's ability to build relationships even a skill to begin with? But actually, it's one of the most valuable skills in the world, and that's what makes it interchangeable and valuable in a variety of different positions and roles. Because if somebody has the relationship building hard skill, meaning they know how to introduce themselves, they know how to do small talk, they know how to bond and connect with people. They know how to discuss things and manage conversations so conversations stay focused and on track to the conversation's objective. They know how to negotiate and find win-win solutions. They know how to de-escalate situations that you're inevitably going to run into when you're doing business with other professional people. Hard skills, and the one we're using as an example, which is relationship building, are more valuable to a lot of high-level decision makers than just technical or creative talents. People who have either natural or willingness to develop hard skills are in higher demand for high-level decision makers, more so than people with niche skill sets or diplomas, modalities, creative talent. All of those things are great, but there's a lot of people with those things. There's not as many people with hard skills, so much so that they have them naturally inside of their default settings, their default operating system. In fact, one of the most valuable hard skills that I think I possess that allowed me to just kind of find my way into these types of opportunities is the fact that I am, like, by default, really authentic and open, and because I'm authentic, I can connect with people really well, and people know with me, they're going to get a truth teller who is going to speak honestly and who is going to tell the truth. I will be the first to say I am not, like, completely finished as far as developing my own hard skills. I talked about the fact that I burnt myself out running my agency, and I've had a lot of time now because it's been, almost 4 years of recovering from that, where I've had to think about what went wrong. So now I get to look back and wonder, like, oh, what happened there? And I realize now that it wasn't my lack of talent. It wasn't because I wasn't really good at what I did, because I actually was. It was largely because I had maxed out on what my actual experience was as far as hard skill sets. Because at the end of the day, it was the fact that I still had people pleasing tendencies. I still had fear of rejection. I still had communication gaps when it came to being able to speak with people about challenges that I was encountering, largely because of survival and not wanting to lose the little mini empire that I was holding up in my hands. I couldn't communicate that I was struggling, and so I decided instead to burn it all down and run for the hills, white flag waving. It probably didn't have to go that way had I had the ability to advocate for myself and just talk about what I was going through. And the reason why I'm willing to share all this and kind of put myself out there as an example of it is because I can recognize that I must have done so many things right to get to where I was. But at some point, I became so afraid of losing the authority and the trust that I had built that I had somehow closed myself off to the growth mindset that had allowed me to develop hard skills in the first place. And this is a gap I see in a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs who are like myself, where they are creatively and technically gifted. They have niche skill sets that are high value skill sets, and they're struggling at step one, which is finding somebody to pay them reasonably and consistently for those things. I want to speak to that person because that's really, who I was when I first started, but I just kind of knew. I just kind of knew that I could learn to do anything. When I think back to the most significant thing I ever learned when I was in my early 20s and I had already had some success with a blog, and I was trying to turn that blog into a business, and I was studying all sorts of different personal development, entrepreneurial development, thought leaders content. One of the things that stood out the most to me was the idea around having a growth mindset. A growth mindset simply means your beliefs about yourself are not stock, and you don't have an attitude that I am who I am, and if you don't like it, that's your problem, but instead are like open and willing to recognize that there are deficits in you, but good news is you can actually learn and improve those interpersonal deficits. And that was really what planted the seed for me and allowed me to start putting one foot in front of the other and start practicing not just what I was doing as far as my business, but also looking for opportunities to practice and develop my hard skills. And that growth mindset, it really did take me so much further than any of the technical skill sets or talents that I actually possessed. And it's actually so refreshing if you think about it, because hard skills, although they are harder if you are also, struggling with your own confidence, self-esteem, inner world, really, self-awareness, I don't know. Even though hard skills seem harder because we have all our baggage and stuff that comes with us wherever we go in life, uh, it's actually refreshing if that's your biggest problem, because honestly, developing hard skills can put you into places and positions in life that are far more lucrative than just bootstrapping some business idea. And the two should really naturally go together. You should be developing both at the same time. You should be developing your business and your hard skill sets, because without the hard skill sets, people are going to reject and say no to you because they're going to see these deficits. And the higher up the hierarchy of people, which I'm not saying that certain people are better than other people. People are in positions where they're at in life, and God bless those who want to pull others up to their level. Those are the decision makers. Those are the people with the budgets. Those are the people who see potential in others and have the generosity of spirit to try to bring them to the next level where they are sitting. When it comes to those individuals, your hard skill sets are the make it or break it decision maker. What they see in you as far as potential will come down to that more than it will any type of service you can provide. And I really have to emphasize this because I am running Enlightened Entrepreneurs right now, and it's a large community, and there's all sorts of different types of experience levels and backgrounds and types of people in there. And already right away, I'm seeing there's a vast difference and disparity in who has been working on their growth mindset and developing hard skill sets, and people who either naturally have them or have them and they're just working on them, or they've developed and gained them through experience. There's just a completely different energy or vibe when you're with other people who recognize these as being as valuable, if not more valuable, than anything that you were naturally gifted at or have learned either academically or through physical experience. So I hope this is valuable, and I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings by saying here's some things you may not know that you do not have, because I am also hoping that what you take away from this is that's okay because you can go get them. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to ask you right now to leave a comment. Please leave a comment and tell me what is one hard skill that you wish you possessed or are currently working on. And then please come and join us in the Enlightened Entrepreneurs Facebook group. If you found it on YouTube, tell us you found it on YouTube because I would love to know. This is a community of entrepreneurs who have growth mindsets, who are interested in engaging with each other, and there's a wide spectrum of experience. So you will be at home. And I think everybody there, we can all humbly admit that none of us are perfect and can support you in developing hard skill sets through networking and mentoring and shared wisdom. So please, if you're looking for a community that can also serve as a resource like that, please come and join the Enlightened Entrepreneurs group, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!